Hey, music lovers, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast. I'm your host, Byron Duffin, and I'm here with my buddy, Jason Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, sir. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's an honor to have you. So, Jason and I have known each other about a year. We met here a year ago at the NFR. Got to hang out a little bit. He actually brought an artist over for me to interview, Mr.
Benny Paulson.
Benny Paulson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Benny. Great interview and a great guy. Former PBR guy.
Yeah, I wrote PRCA, PBR. He's got a band called Breaking 8 out of North Dakota, and he comes down. He'll be down here this week, and he's just a good role model for all cowboys and cowgirls.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy, and then we ran into each other in Whitefish, Montana, at the Whitefish Songwriter Festival, which was a great weekend. What a group of great songwriters there. There was Bryce Long, Marla Cannon Goodman, who has turned out to be basically my agent, my booking agent. I mean, she's gathered up some great interviews for me, and she's just such a sweet lady. Bryce Long, Aaron Ratier.
Yep.
Aaron was a hoot. We got to interview Aaron, and you got to hang out all weekend with all those guys.
Yeah, Wyatt McCubbin was there.
And Wyatt McCubbin, and Wyatt, what a talent that guy is. You got a exact top hit. Kind of going on the radio right now. No number ones yet, but he's knocking on them.
Yeah, he's working on it. He'll get there.
He'll get there, no doubt. Very talented, and he's been around the game for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of young, up and coming songwriters, which is cool about that deal, right? They bring in the hit makers, from Nashville, and then they bring some up and coming. Of course, Kat Higgins was there as well. Kat, she's had 3 number ones. Sweet girl. Yeah, great weekend. But anyway, and then, so we were going to do our interview there, and I got busy and didn't get things.
I was busy too. We were a platinum sponsor of the event, so
yes, you were.
Had a lot of running around to do and hands to shake.
Yeah, you do. Well, so let's talk a little bit about that. So you are as a president, CEO, head bottle washer of K9
Project
Heroes.
K9 Hero, yeah.
Project K9 Hero. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, so it's a nonprofit I started. It helps take care of retired police canines, military working dogs with medical care, food, rehabilitation, rehoming, and end-of-duty services. I served in the military, also the police force, and then in the federal government, as well as overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan as a dog handler. And what I learned in my first 24 years, I'm in year 32 now.
Wow.
After training over 2,000 dogs for those agencies, they don't get help in retirement. So I'm a disabled veteran. We got the VA. Well, the dogs don't have anything.
Right.
Whoever adopts that dog, it's on them. And we're seeing about 75% of our working dogs head off cancer later in life. We're introducing them to carcinogens, explosives, accelerants, and of course, illegal narcotics. So you're seeing them come down with these things. And as a former, military police officer, as a former police canine handler, and someone in the federal government, I know we don't have that kind of extra money to be paying those cancer treatments, which are really expensive. So
sure.
I took $500 in my pocket in 2016. And since then, we've raised over $30 million, become the largest nonprofit in the world that I know of for retired police canines and military working dogs that have that rehabilitation rehoming center as well, which is right outside Nashville, 2 hours south in Tennessee, 177-acre sanctuary that where I also live currently.
That is amazing. So how many dogs do you have on the place right now?
Yeah, so to answer that, start with 90% of the dogs in the program stay with their handler. You might have known one, police officer, deputy sheriff, whatever it may be. They're staying with their handler, but we're paying those bills.
You're helping pay those bills because they can't afford it.
Right. Now, 10% might find themselves in a situation, but the neighbor's daughter had an incident with the spouse. They got a new job. The handler did whatever it may be that need finding a new home.
Sure.
And we help with that at our facility in Tennessee. So to date, we've put in 365 dogs in the program from all levels of police, military, and federal government. And then, we keep about 10 on site down there.
Okay.
And we're building a larger facility, but the idea is to get them out of there as soon as possible.
Sure.
10 is the number because that's what we can manage with the rehabilitation. My rehabilitation specialist, which there's 2 plus me when I'm there, but the 2 of them who are working while I'm gone doing stuff like this, they're working with those dogs daily, getting them out, exercising, taking walks, trying to, what we try to do is learn their triggers. We're not trying to retrain them. We're trying to learn their triggers and remove them from their lives. So we're trying to give them an environment that's going to be comfortable for them to live on, that's not causing them to react in a negative way.
Okay. Well, and those dogs need human interaction.
They do. And some of them, aren't all meant to be inside. These are Belgian Malinois. These are German Shepherds, Dutch Shepherds for the most part. And they like a nice indoor-outdoor kennel and having their space and doing that. We've tried to adopt a few, and not the family's fault. They try to bring it in the home and make it a nice bed, and too much interaction, too much commotion. And sometimes that sets them off.
Sure. What goes into training one of those dogs? Because you've done it for many years.
Yeah.
You said over 2,000 dogs you train. So what is the typical length of time? And obviously, it's like training a horse or anything else.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes time.
Sure.
And every dog's a little bit different.
Sure. So we start looking at them around one, and that's for police and military. Some people might start with the detection stuff early, but we won't start looking to buy them to around 1.5 up to 2. And what we're looking for is several things. So a dog has 17 drives in it. We look for the hunt, air scent, prey, and retrieve as the 4 main drives they must have, especially for detection. And then I look at 2 other things. I look at sociability, because I want to be social with other dogs and people. And my number one thing is environmental confidence. I want the slick floors, elevators, escalators, loud noises, buses, airplanes, trains. I don't want them freaking out or shutting down or any of that. So I look at environmental confidence, number one, sociability, and then I start getting into the drives.
Okay.
And so what we do is a lot of the police and military will get their dogs from overseas. There's a few American breeders, but you'll see the majority, especially our U.S. military or a lot of our federal government dogs, they're gonna go from Germany, Czechoslovakia, areas of Denmark, and a lot of big breeders over there. Just be quite honest, the price is a little bit better, and they have a system down that's worked for a long time. And rather than trying to find the right dog here, you're getting certain guarantees with the medical, you're getting certain guarantees with the performance. And so,
well, and breeding, I'm sure, plays into it as well.
Yeah, big time.
You got a great sire and a great dam. Some
exactly.
that have
a lot of lineage.
Do they use those dogs prior to breeding them, or are they strictly breeding dogs?
There's some females that they use strictly for breeding. She might come from a great line,
right,
and say, hey, you know what, we're just going to use this one for breeding. And that particular dog may never work out on the street, but may have put out 20, 30 that end up working.
Sure. What is the average? What's the percentage of those dogs that actually make it into a program?
Well, the ones come from Europe's high. If you went to a local breeder and you thought you'd just go pick up a German Shepherd from someone, you found in the, on Facebook Marketplace,
right,
it'd be low. Because, while they may have some of the skills, they may not have all the skills.
Sure.
And then, one time I worked in a program where we found dogs in animal shelter. So my first and second book, which is Canine Flash Becomes a Hero and Canine Flash.
Right. So these are children's books that you've written.
Yeah. And I just had a new one come out on our website called Just UB, but we'll get in that in a second. Flash came from the Everett, Washington Humane Shelter. We were working in a program where the department didn't have a lot of money. This early 2000s. I was a narcotics canine handler 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago. And we were looking at the drives, and we're looking for a dog to cut it. She's a mixed breed, and she went on to be one of the most famous dogs in America. In fact, she had 3,000 deployments, 2,200 fines, and she was the 2018 Law Enforcement Dog of the Year with the American Humane. So,
wow.
It can be done.
Drug dog?
Yeah, drug dog. Not a bite dog. I mean, you're looking for certain skills with the patrol apprehension. I mean, the reason people go to Europe, because they don't want us to put months into something and it not work.
Sure.
You go there for the guarantees. Like, okay, I know if I get one from here.
So those breeders do guarantee that they'll work?
Yes.
Okay. So, which means
that's a lot. If you're going to pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a dog, if it's not working out, you want to go get it. You want to return it for one.
Yeah. And they're going to more likely than not, they're going to reimburse you with another pup.
Oh, that's exactly what's going to happen.
They're not going to give you a cash refund.
No, they bring it back. We'll get you another one. Sure. And maybe they work with it and
find another avenue for it. So
possibly, right?
Yeah. Cool. Well, so let's talk about the foundation and how you got this thing started. Because the first year you put $500 in, and then you went out and started to get some sponsors. Yep. And I'm sure you got family, friends, people, everybody you knew. You hit them up. Saying, hey, help us out. You got $100 or whatever. I
didn't know a lot about it. I was pretty high up in the U.S. government in the canine world.
Sure.
I have, just to give a quick background, I spent 5 years as a U.S. Army MP, 10 years police officer, Tacoma and Yakima, Washington. When I left there, I was a narcotics handler, a canine trainer. I was on the SWAT team. I got recruited to go overseas with Blackwater. I worked in Iraq for the U.S. Ambassador's Detail in the high threat protection. I was a dog handler and a protective security specialist. 3 tours there, another one in Afghanistan. Worked for with Ambassador Carl Eikenberry. I did the elections in both countries, then got recruited and a job offer to come to ATF back in Front Row, Virginia, right outside D.C.
Sure.
That's kind of our national academy. There we train FBI, CIA, marshals. We do international countries with our Department of State and anti-terrorism assistance, and train dogs out like in Yuma, Arizona for pre-deployment overseas at that time. So I did all that. 5 years, kind of did everything I wanted to do there. That's where the majority of dogs I was working with came in. And I want to get back operational, so I went back to Homeland Security, which is your TSA, DHS program, which you see dogs in the airport sniffing for passengers. So I was fairly high up in that program, kind of a regional program manager. It's called a field K9 coordinator. And DC employee, but I got to work close where I grew up in the Midwest. I hadn't been back home in a while.
Where did you grow up?
Michigan. Hadley, Michigan.
Okay.
So I was able, DC employee, but I was able to keep my office in Detroit at the airport. And then I traveled down into Cleveland and Chicago and all those areas. And so when I was working there, government employees would actually come to me and say, hey, Jason, I took my dog to the vet. They think it's time to retire. Is having this hip issue, this knee issue, whatever it is, right? And I would be the person in the government that would take it out of service. And financially, I'd have you sign a hold harmless agreement. And, hey, you're going to keep your dog. I'm going to put you in a new school down at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. Congratulations. Good luck. But I knew that's when the bills started happening. Right. Maybe it's cancer. Maybe it's lymphoma. Maybe it's an ACL tear. Whatever it was, I was the man in the government at that moment to remove it. And I thought to myself, that's not right. What we're doing is we're just working these dogs till they physically can't do it no more. Then we as government, we give them to someone else, whether it's a handler or whoever wants to adopt them. We wash our hands with them financially and say good luck. And, there are some departments out there, maybe it's a local municipality or a state that have a few things where they've got money for a little bit of bills. They've done that. But particularly in the federal government, all branches of the federal government, and the U.S. military is $0. It's $0. So some people argue with me about that. But there's some municipalities that have raised a little money or got a little fund.
Sure.
But I would say 97% of all canine units in the world are not funded in retirement. So I thought, man, I spent all this time, with the military and the police and the overseas with working dogs, and now in the federal government with all the big agencies. And I thought, well, maybe I should do something about that. I'm probably the one who needs to do it, because if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it?
Right.
Yeah.
So
today's episode of Musical Miles Podcast is brought to you by Roper Apparel and Footwear. Whether you're chasing songs, loading gear, or standing front row at a live show, Roper blends Western tradition with modern comfort and style. Built tough, worn proud, and ready for every mile. Roper, wear the West.
So that's when I took that 500. I had nothing about starting a 501c3, but I figured it out. And then you got to figure out your website and all your socials and all those things.
Right.
I remember when we had 0, we got 250,000 followers now. I remember when I got excited when we had 100.
Yeah.
I remember, the first time I got a $500 check, and just this week we got a $250,000 check. You know what I mean? So as you build it and things go, like you say, you have to hit up everybody. I spent as we started March 2nd, 2016. So I spent until all the way to the next January in the government. Now, when you're in the federal government, they don't want you talking about your private business, even though it's fun. Even though I'm taking care of their dogs, like,
right.
Hey, you can't be discussing it. You can't be
we don't want anybody to know what's going on.
Sure. It's just like you got to keep that separate. Well, you only can do so much work. So that first year we only raised $50,000. I had some.
That's admirable. Though.
It's not bad. $50,000 not bad for that first year. I mean, I made some T-shirts. My first book was out. I did my first children's book. I had some hats. Took in some donations. We put the first 12 dogs in. These are dogs I knew and trained. I kind of called the handler and said, "Hey, I don't have money yet.
Yeah,
but the idea is to get these first 12 dogs in the program.
Sure.
And I'm going to start raising money. And then when you have bills, we're going to pay them." And that's how it kind of got started. And 12 dogs are now 365 dogs. I will say that we have over 800 pending applications for medical. We put in 1 new hero a week, 52 a year, which are decisions I have to make every week, very difficult. And I look at 2 things. I look at financial burden and special need. So you have a special need, and what's the financial burden? Hard to make those decisions because each one of them are pretty deserving, because hence the name hero, meaning they've all worked at some level of law enforcement or military.
Right.
And so, hard to do. But when we do put in a new one a week, we're committing to $25,000 every 7 days. That's what I average. If a dog comes in the program, whether it was 1 year or 5 years, I would say the average cost is $25,000 is what we're paying on average. So every 7 days, we commit to a new $25,000. And that's for the ones in the medical, not counting the 24/7 care we have at the facility in Tennessee. Because that's a situation where someone's got to be there all the time. No one can just leave them alone, come back in a day or two and hope they're okay.
Right. Yeah, they require attention full time.
Yeah, full time, and security. I mean, we got some dogs up there worthwhile money. I mean, I wouldn't want something to happen to them, get out, someone, we got a pretty secure facility there. But yeah, it's so, just paying a 24/7, 365 staff alone is costly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which is something I do on occasion as a founder, because some of the most things I'm excited about is our program services. This past couple years, we've been 90% program services. This last year, we were 4% in admin costs and 6% in fundraising. So that's very difficult to do. But when you do that as a founder CEO, like I get back from this trip December 15th, I give the rest of the staff off to the first year, and I'll be the one there 24/7. I won't even leave. I'll be there 24/7, taking care of the dogs, feeding them, medication, cleaning the kennels, all that stuff. And that's how you keep that 4%. Some days we're out doing this.
Sure.
Some days you're on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Some days you're picking up the poop.
Yeah.
That's the way it has to go.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's a great program.
Oh, wow. I love it. I couldn't be more proud of it. We walked into the Westgate the other day.
Right.
And there was a canine handler from Spokane, Washington, and I didn't make it in 30 seconds, and they were flagging me down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
They're coming to the event.
Sure.
We have an event we're going to talk about January 29th coming up at the Nashville Palace. But it's everywhere I go. It's every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's every day. Yeah. Someone will recognize me walking through somewhere, airport, casino, shopping mall.
Tell the story the other day.
Yeah.
You came in and with one of the artists that we interviewed on the podcast, Justin Andrews.
Yes.
And what a great guy, and told the story about running into a very famous rodeo cowboy.
Yeah. I ran into Tough Hedeman. And
immediately he knew who you were.
Yeah. So he's got my children's book, because Tough's got younger kids still.
Yeah.
And he's got my children's book around his coffee table, he said. And just was really, real proud of what we did. And I told him I got a new book I want to send one, gave me his address. I'll make sure when I get home, I'll autograph it for his children and send it to him. But, we ain't got in this, but, I rode in the PRCA in 98. I was a bronc rider, saddle bronc rider. Not a good one. We can get into that. But I was one.
Yeah.
But not a good one.
Yeah.
But Tough Hedeman, at the time was the guy,
Sure,
he was the guy. So to come up and someone just immediately recognize you like that, brings me a lot of joy. Like, I must be doing something right, because if Tough Hedeman knows who I am, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, let's talk about your party, your event you got coming up on the 29th of January, which is a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser. It's the 5th annual Performers for Paws, Nashville Palace. We've had it at the Nashville Palace every year. For those who are not familiar with the Nashville Palace, it's a very famous venue in Nashville.
Right.
I think every major artist in the world has played there. To give you a little history, Randy Travis started there as a dishwasher when he got to town. So, but it's famous. Everybody. I mean, from Merle Haggard to Willie Nelson to Waylon Jennings.
Yep.
Anyone who's anyone. And that's why I like having it there, because the artists, we get about 25 artists, and they ask always, where's it at? And I tell them Nashville Palace. Oh, I know the Palace. Okay. And they know the sound and how it's going to be in the setup.
Sure.
There's parking, because downtown Nashville, there's no parking.
There's no parking.
And artists don't want to go down there and park in a garage and walk
fight
down the street.
I've done it. And I'm not an artist, but nonetheless,
they want
to get onto Broadway. It's a pain.
It's a pain, and when they're doing a charity fundraiser, they're going out of their way and they're donating their time. So you want to make it as comfortable for them as they can too by having something set up. So
is this a ticketed event? Is this how this works?
It is, and in the 5th year, this year my goal is to raise $500,000 that night. I will say we're over $300,000 right now.
That's awesome,
and I'm still selling tables and sponsorships today, and sold 2 on the way here, actually.
Good deal.
I mean, they're not money. One was a $2,500 and one was $1,000.
Sure.
But hey, it all adds up. The Palace holds a lot of tables. We put about 500 people in the room.
Can you?
And it's not just 500 people for me.
Sure.
As the founder and CEO of Project Canine Hero, it's the 500 right people. It's people like yourself.
Yeah.
It's people that donate to the cause, believe in the cause, are going to be around, sticking with the cause. I don't really sell tickets to the general public. What I'm looking to do is sell sponsorships and tables to people who own companies, who want to bring some of their employees out or their spouse out, have a good time, where it's on the company dime. Because I paid $5,000 for a sponsorship. Meet people. It's no different what I was doing in Whitefish. We donated to be a sponsor because we believe in the cause and we wanted to help out. But then we're going there to meet people.
Absolutely.
Like yourself, although me and you already knew each other.
Right.
Which, by the way, took us about 5 minutes to figure that out.
It didn't come quite as fast as we thought, because I'm an old man and you might have had one or two cocktails in you, but no, we were, but it was funny because we're like, no, I know.
We've met before. I know. I get that a lot. We get that a lot. I'm sure you do too.
Oh yeah.
But it's a great event. All the information is on our website, projectk9hero.org. That's project a K and a 9, letter K, number 9, hero.org, and everything's on there about it. Some of the artists, we've had in the past. I haven't released artists listed yet this year, but Mr. Darryl Worley's played a few times. Lee Bryce has been there. It's hosted by Danielle Peck from SiriusXM Radio, if you know Danielle. Some of the Jana Kramer's played it, Carolyn Don Johnson, big time songwriters, Bobby Pinson, Anthony Smith. Anthony's probably playing this year for those listening when they come out. Anthony wrote Run by George Strait, Cowboys Like Us, a couple Montgomery Gentry number ones. Aaron Barker has played it twice. He's written Baby Blue, Love Without End, Amen. So the list goes on and on. And I try to get, some of the touring artists and some of just your Nashville hit songwriters, kind of like up in Whitefish.
And there's nothing like a songwriter event because you're in the thick of it. I mean, they're small, very intimate.
You get the story behind the song, which is the story behind the song, the fun part.
And you people will go, well, Marina Del Rey was, that's a George Strait song. George wrote that. No. We all know who wrote it. Right. Dean Dillon is the greatest songwriter probably of my generation. And Dean has 11 number ones with George Strait and 87 cuts. Most people, and if they watch our podcast, they're learning that. That's what we've tried to share was to pull the curtain back on the music industry a little bit. And, but so what really drove you to go to Nashville when you were looking for a piece of property?
That's a whole different story. So when I quit the government January 17th, I started traveling full time. So that's the time I sold my house, bought a new Duramax and a fifth wheel, and I went the road to tell everybody my story and raise awareness and do events. And some of that, I used to do the booths. I used to have a booth here at the Roper when it was over in Mandalay. I had that for 5 years. But when you're in the booth, it's hard to do this. When you're in the booth, everyone comes in there kind of skeptical, like, okay, what is it you guys do again? And you got to tell that story 100 times a day. When you're not in the booth, you can walk around, meet people, and find the people you want to talk to. And besides that, to get all the clothing and the apparel out here for a nonprofit, it probably costs me, and then your staff to man it, and hotel, Airbnb, whatever it is, it's about $25,000-$30,000.
Sure.
Now I'll sell $30,000 in merch, which is great, but then that's a break even thing,
right?
And so
and you've spent 2 full weeks in Las Vegas.
And your feet hurt, I've stopped doing that, and now I've learned as a CEO. It's just easier for me to come out here and hang out and meet and talk to people like you and do things like this because they're all here.
Sure.
Tough's getting my new book.
Sure.
We talked about, or I don't want to disclose who it was, but I was with another very extremely famous movie, I guess documentary stuff, but musical family.
Sure.
The other night at dinner, bought me dinner, had dinner with them. They're coming to the event. Their daughter's playing the event. So that's how things happen. Emails, text messages, and phone calls don't work no more.
No.
You need to shake someone's hand.
Well, there's no replacing this.
No, there's not.
Face to face.
No.
And that's why we refuse to do an online interview
Yeah.
We named this Musical Miles for a reason. We travel.
Yeah.
We're willing to drive wherever we got to go to sit down with an artist. We're set up here at the Rio, which this is a great facility.
Oh yeah.
This is a great room that they've got us in. And thanks to Bill Blanchard and Cowboy Lifestyle Network, these guys have really treated us well. And so it's cool, but there is no replacing a person to person or a live music experience, right?
No,
I can only imagine, one, being in Nashville, you have access to, and as it's happened for us very naturally, very organically, as you meet one person who likes what you do or believes in what you do, then they introduce you to someone else.
Right. And I should finish the Nashville question, how I ended up there. So I spent the first 3 years doing that. It was the first time in my life, because I had been police, military, law enforcement, federal government, overseas guy. I never really got to choose since I left home in 93, going everywhere I wanted to live.
Sure.
Everything was always situational, circumstantial. And I thought, man, I can actually live wherever I want now. So I knew I wanted to be in Tennessee. It's my favorite state. Outside of this, I own a firearms company, Blackbird Armament. I'm the CEO of that amongst 8 other companies, because when you quit your federal job to be a nonprofit leader, well, the nonprofit's what I talk about every day.
Sure.
I have to have other avenues that I work on
for income,
because you'll never make that money I could be making if I still wanted to be working in Iraq, Afghanistan, or something, doing this. However, I was looking at price per acre, and I live in where our facility is in Marion County, Tennessee. It's us between Chattanooga and Nashville, and it was all price per acre. And what we paid for it was extremely reasonable. We have 177 acres there for that. That was only $2,500 an acre.
Oh, wow.
Which isn't bad. And it's extremely nice. I have personal land that has waterfalls on it that I only paid $17.50 an acre for. And then we have a whole rock quarry that I own with another company called Blue Star Valor. Me and 2 guys I was in the Army with, and that was $12.50 an acre. Yeah. And as I've traveled the world, you're not going to get almost 1,400 acres for the prices we got it there. And now we can build upon that. And if, I fly out Nashville almost every week. It's a 2-hour drive. And go up there, see some of my artists who are friends play and things like that. But
sure,
you can get to Chattanooga pretty quick. But
how far are you from Nashville? 2 hours?
2 hours, yeah. And Nashville has everything a business owner needs. Some people say, well, you should be closer to DC or this town or that town. For those who haven't been to Nashville in a while, it's growing fast.
I've been twice.
There's plenty of opportunity for a nonprofit leader there.
Sure.
And all my friends are musicians and songwriters, and I write songs as a hobby.
Yeah.
I've had some cuts.
And can actually play that guitar.
I can play. Yeah, I can
You
play.
sat here and played that guitar for me the other day.
Yeah, I can play if I want to and get up there, but that's not my goal in life.
Sure.
I do like writing songs. Benny, who was on last time, we just wrote a song he's going to be playing here this week.
Oh, really?
Called What Would You Say, about an encounter with an older veteran that he met. And he wasn't sure how to thank him for his service.
Sure.
And so, obviously, Benny's the musical talent. I'm more of the technical.
Sure.
In the military, we'd say this, or we would call it that.
Right.
Type guy, to make sure that he's on par with, getting it down right. So,
sure.
I write a lot of songs like that with a lot of people. And it's great. It's great living in that area. I'll never leave it now. We go in there and, Justin Andrews, who's in here, he plays a place called The Local, which is one of the best venues in Nashville for songwriters. And, whichever venue we walk into, we know the door guy. We know the bartender. We know the guy or girl on stage. We know the owner. And that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And they all know you.
Yeah.
And it's good because, I'm always bringing in influential or famous people with me everywhere I go.
Sure. Sure. Well, which helps to generate funds for your
exactly.
Which is what you do.
Which is the whole thing.
That's
people ask me all the time, Jason, how did you guys make over 30 million a year? How'd you do that? Because I see nonprofit leaders who are just struggling out there, and they're not doing it the same way I'm doing it. But the number one answer is personal connections.
Oh, absolutely.
And in year 24, I had the personal connections. I tried doing that 10 years later. I wasn't ready.
Sure.
I didn't have that time throughout the military, the police, the federal government, the overseas stuff. I didn't have it. And I did have it at that time.
Well, you knew a lot of people, but were they the right people?
Right.
Until you really got it's an evolution. It's a growing process.
It's the same way. I had a bill in Congress 2019 called the Canine Hero Act that I wrote with Congressman Ron Wright out of Texas. It was on the House floor, Bill 5081. I'm trying to get out right now. I'm working with U.S. Senate right now. I'm in D.C. all the time. Congressmen, senators, know them. You got to know them. And the only reason I got it out with Congressman Ron Wright, because I had a personal connection with him. And he did with my dog. He had lung cancer, and my dog Axel at that time had lung cancer. And, he just loved him and said, I'm going to do this for you and make sure we get it out. And unfortunately, he died during COVID. Between his lung cancer and COVID, he passed away. And then my bill kind of died because then the congressman introduced it. If they go, your bill goes. And then we had a change in the presidency, politics out there, a lot of things. So I've been working hard with U.S. Senate right now to get my bill back in Congress. But I'll tell you, when you walk in the offices and they all know you, it's a good feeling too, because they're not going to do that if they don't know who you are and what you're all about.
Well, and being able to
it's not going to happen.
Get in their office in the first place and be on the Hill. I've spent some time there as well.
It's not easy, but it's doable.
But it's doable.
Yeah.
Well, and they're there in service of their constituents, and so they're doing their job and they want to hear from us. They really truly do. That my experience there was we want to hear from our constituents,
right?
And so. It's important, and it's important to listen and know what's going on so you can reach out to those guys. There's a book with every congressman's phone number, their office's numbers in there. You can call their office every day.
Yep.
My son actually worked in DC and worked for a representative there, and so
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're working hard. So Project Canine Hero is not just about raising money and paying dog bills. It's about changing the way we look at police, canines, and military working dogs for generations to follow. That's between advancing new laws, where I feel the federal government should be helping pay for some of those bills, just like they do for our VA program.
Sure.
It's about taking care of them better in retirement. It's about taking care of them better when they're working so they don't have these issues in retirement. And I work on all phases of that daily. Cool. In fact, this Thursday, when we came to town, Justin and his manager Rob with me, we were down at the JW Marriott and we received a Flux Award.
Yes, you did.
For a global innovation for canine global canine operations worldwide. And what an amazing opportunity. It was a beautiful award. Box was even better. I was highly impressed. But just to be on the red carpet and something like that with all those world business leaders and to do that, makes you feel like you're doing something right.
Yeah. Well, listen, you've been more than gracious with your time, and we're so grateful that you came and shared your story with us. And we'll do what we can. I mean, I don't have 250,000 followers, but maybe we're going to have that one guy that's going to hear this. I want to contribute. Maybe we'll have 100. We don't know.
Oh, for sure. But, and you're interviewing some of the people who are going to be future superstars. And hopefully
they're definitely going to be some. In fact, we're going to interview May Estes tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know who May was 2 months ago. I saw her perform in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. She was part of the Cowgirls at the Cowboy, the $1 Million Cowboy Bar in Jackson Hole. She played with Jenny Tolman, who was just on the CBS The Road, along with two other girls that I've had on the podcast. Who knew a year ago when I interviewed Olivia Harms and Billy Joe Jones that they would be on a nationally televised music show, with Blake Shelton and Keith Urban.
I had a friend on there too, Cody Hibbard. So
yes, and I'm
familiar with it.
Well, a lot of those guys didn't know, but Channing Wilson, right? Yeah. What a great artist, great, and he's had some successful. He's a successful songwriter before he got on there.
Oh, yeah. He's a couple big number ones.
Yeah, some big number ones. For Luke, didn't he have one with Luke Combs or... Anyway.
I'd have to think about him because Adam Sanders had some big hits. He had Cole Swindell and Dustin Lynch, number one.
Yeah.
Adam Sanders...
Okay.
He's had it too. But the thing is with that show, those people weren't new.
No.
They just weren't known to the world. They weren't known to the world. But they were already, they've been doing it for a while.
For a long time. Billy Joe, she's toured for a long time. Yeah. What a talented, beautiful young lady. Olivia Harms literally was born into music royalty. Her mother is an international Western entertainer of the year, multiple winner of that award.
Right.
She's played at Carnegie Hall. Her mom is extremely. That girl was on stage at literally 2 days old.
Wow.
So she's spent her entire life in the music industry. But what a cool industry and what a cool place. And we look forward to coming out.
Yeah.
You've invited us to your party.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to coming out and seeing and getting to meet some more artists.
Yeah, we'll try to set up some interviews with you too, and what time you got, and what time they got.
Sure.
I don't know their schedule.
That's always the challenge, to try and fit everybody in. But we come to Vegas and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to be on your podcast." Then they get pulled a million directions. But we're very portable, right? So we picked up the other day and went and interviewed Sammy Kershaw at the Golden Nugget instead of having Sammy come here. So we can do that.
Right. Well, I really appreciate you having me on. And if anyone wants to follow us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the things at Project K9 Hero.
And we'll put all that in the show notes.
Yep.
So,
donations or just ways of support can all be found on our website at projectk9hero.org. We have a ton of merch. And I'll tell you what, when we came here, this real quick story, parked out in front of the, right out here, we're at the main hotel entrance of the Rio. I get out of the Uber Lyft, and the gentleman is putting an electric cart in a taxi cab in front of me. He is wearing one of our sweatshirts.
How cool is that?
Remember Every Dog Deployed is a brand I have, something I trademarked. And I just walked up to him and said, "Sir, I really like that sweatshirt." And he turned around, his face lit up.
He knew who you were.
Oh yeah, because I gave it to him, because when I had the booth at Mandalay, that 8 years ago, that's where he got it. And here he is wearing, he's like, "It's my favorite one." I gave him my card. I said, "Send me your email, send me your address and your size. I'm going to get you about 5 more on me."
Oh, cool.
He goes, "I wear it every day." So the next day I'm at South Point. I walk up in this thing at South Point. He's wearing it again. The very next day. I was like, "You got to email me with that address." But, just to be able to see that. Ton of merch on there. And then one thing I didn't cover that's always important to cover, because people are always skeptical, nonprofits, scams, and organizations like that, is our Charity Navigator score. So if you just Google Project K9 Hero, your Charity Navigator is it's a third party who rates you right off your tax, or off your 990. Sure. And we have a 100% score. We're the only 100% rated charity in our field in the world. I would also say only 0.1% charities in the world are rated at 100%. And it has to do with our transparency and how we run our operation. Like I said, small team, but very productive, very mobile, and doing the right things for the dogs. So, any guy wearing that, just do your own research on Charity Navigator. You'll see our score on there and tell you all about our organization. But everything else is on projectk9hero.org, our socials. And we're looking forward to having you out in Nashville, sir.
Okay, brother. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Hey, for Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duff, and here with Mr. Jason. We'll see you somewhere down the road. Adios for now. Perfect.
Almost. Good job.